Not today, but maybe on Friday of this very same topic. Okay. Okay. So our next topic would be natural selection. It's from the same chapter, but it would be natural selection. That is the other chapter. First, we'll discuss what is natural selection. So, when we talk about evolution, there are two main theories that were put forward. One is by Lamarck and one is by Charles Darwin. What Lamarck said that whatever organs are not needed by organisms are eventually becomes extinct. They got removed from the body. And for example, I've given you an example of giraffe, that why the necks are longer because they need to fetch the leaves from the trees. So it is given by Lamarck. So and this theory was rejected by uh, the Charles Darwin. I'll let you know why. Because Charles Darwin has a better version of evolution, the theory of evolution. What he said that it's natural selection. The environment is going to choose the best, and this is known as survival of the fittest. The environment or a certain place is going to select what organism is going to survive. For example, for instance, if a place doesn't have any plants, okay, is there any secondary consumer going to exist over there? Even the primary is difficult to exist. For example, in deserts, so we don't find that much diversity in such places where the producers are not present. That's what Charles Darwin said. That the environment is going to select what organisms are going to survive. It is the survival of fittest in the certain environment. Okay. Now, what is natural selection? And why, how do organisms survive that natural selection? Very first thing, when organisms reproduce, they produce offsprings. If these offsprings are like suitable for the environment, they will survive, otherwise they won't. Let's take case in point. For example, we have any animal that by any chance has some type of disease that is not disease, that cannot survive in that environment. Exactly. So they cannot survive in the warmer places, like the polar bears as well. Okay. Then second very important thing is the competition. Competition for food, very first important thing. Competition for food and the competition for survival. For example, the prey predator relationship. So we have limited number of source anything in the certain area. For example, plants. Okay. Now the animals which are more stronger are going to survive in that environment because they can easily fight with the weaker animals and kill them. So the stronger animals are going to survive. That is the competition of food. Okay? They actually have a struggle for the resources. Yes, for resources. For food or for anything, whatever. If there is a competition between two species, one is going to extinct from that place. Let me give you an example. We have rabbits and we have rats in a certain place, and we have very limited number of plants available. What do you think? Only one species is going to survive because one is more stronger than the other? Being bigger in size, maybe rabbit survive. Plants are limited. So, so definitely one species is going to survive. Whichever species is more stronger, they start to kill the other species. And ultimately, if the other species doesn't exist over there, they won't reproduce, they won't be offspring, and ultimately that would be extinct from that place. Okay. Okay. Then other thing is the survival rate of reproduction. So it's a definition of species. The species is the group of organisms that can interbreed among themselves and produce fertile offsprings. Is it so? Okay. So if we talk about mule, mule is a combination of horse and donkey. It's not going to survive because it's not a true breed. It's not from a single species. They cannot reproduce. If they cannot reproduce, they cannot like have further J, okay, offsprings. The very next thing is the pass on of favorable allele. So we have seen a very tough situation of COVID in 2020, where when there was a complete lockdown and the mortality rate was very high. There were lots of death. So the persons who have better immunity, only those individuals survive. Okay? Then you must not be exposed to that one. So the strong we say that the person with stronger allele or the favorable alleles are going to survive. I'll give you one more example. There is one disease called as bird flu. Bird flu. That is going to affect only certain species of birds, not all birds, because some birds have resistant to that allele or that pathogen. They are not going to be affected. They have the favorable allele. So there was a time back in like 2008, I guess uh, there was a time when when chicken was available at 20 rupees per kg, and due to this bird flu thing. Yes, and nobody was buying the chicken. Exactly. So the rate was really low, but still some people survive of South Asia, of both India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka. They survived because they have very first thing, they have very strong cooking, you can say, skill. They just cook, they roast the food. They just kill all the nutrients and even the pathogens in the food. So many people survived as well. Ah, yes, they're exactly. Now we can say about this about the other cities as well. Okay, so this is the theory of. So we say that the offsprings or the individuals with better adaptive variation are going to survive. Okay, so individuals with better adaptive variation survive, and this is actually survival of the fittest, the natural selection theory. Done. Okay, then we have certain cases. Okay, what other adaptations can be like there? For example, the environment is not changing. Still, the individuals are for like the COVID. The environment is same for everyone, but still, many of the people died at that time. It was really sad that many people died. Their immune system is not that much adaptive to the change, and this takes generations to get used to it. For example, if we talk about the certain area, the polar regions, the people don't have that melanin pigment in their skin because they never have faced the that sunlight that the people at the equator are facing. Okay, not at the equator, near the equator are facing. So here the complexion is becoming darker day by day because of the exposure to the sunlight. If the same people, let me just put it into other words, if the people from here, near the equator places, they move to the polar regions, their generations are going to have quite fair skin because their genes are then get adapted to their that one in that adaptation where they don't have that melanin in their body, and further on they pass the same characteristic to the offsprings, and there come a point in their generation that they won't have that brown pigment. Exactly. You are not going to have the generations after generations. After certain number of generations, they are going to have the not us. Definitely, we have some type of like change, a better change, like it become lighter, but when again we come back to this place, we're not being like we need time to get used to this environment. Okay.